a pleasure to be with you here online. If you're joining us here in West Hollywood, California with Congregation Kol Ami. Again, I'm Rabbi Max Chaiken, and I'll be starting in just a moment with Morning Mindfulness, with our weekly prayer experience that gives us a chance to connect here online, connect with each other in the comments, connect with ourselves and with our source. That's really what this is all about. This is a chance to wake up with intention and welcome the blessings that we are lucky to experience each and every day. Here at Congregation Kol Ami, we use the Reform Movement's prayer book, Mishkan Tefillah, and you can join us with Mishkan Tefillah if you have the hard copy, of course. I'll be sharing page numbers from the full version for weekdays and festivals, and Shabbat. But if you are online and don't have a copy of Mishkan Tefillah, you can actually find one in flipbook form at ccarpress.org. The Central Conference of American Rabbis early on in the pandemic made our prayer book available in that form so that we could pray online together. It's really quite generous. I hope you'll consider purchasing a copy, of course. There's something special about having a book itself, be able to take the prayers with you if you're traveling or walking. Hopefully you're not doing too much of that because it's safer at home these days with the way that we are living through this unprecedented moment in our world. On page 24 is Modeh Ani. It's a melody by Joey Weisenberg. Again, thank you for joining me, Rabbi Max Chaiken, and Congregation Kol Ami. I hope you'll sing along with me. Modeh Ani Lifanecha Melech Chai V'Kayam Modeh Ani Lifanecha Melech Chai V'Kayam Shechzarta Bi Nishmati Bechemla Shechazarta Bi Nishmati Bechemla Rabba Emunatecha Modeh Ani Lifanecha Melech Chai V'Kayam Modeh Ani Lifanecha Melech Chai V'Kayam Shechazarta Bi Nishmati Bechemla Shechazarta Bi Nishmati Bechemla Rabba Emunatecha Rabba Emunatecha. Modeh Ani, Moda Ani, Modim Anachnu. We are grateful each morning. We are reminded to be grateful for our being, for our existence, for waking up. And Sadly, in our world right now, especially, we know that's not a given, as so many people are dying from the coronavirus and and contracting the virus at record rates, and really struggling to survive right now in our world. And so, if you are listening to me, you still have something to be grateful for, and you. No matter what hardships you might be facing, your being here this morning is a blessing, and can be a blessing. And so we're going to take a few moments of breath before we continue to Elohai Neshama, the morning blessing that gives thanks for our souls, for our neshama, our soul that is connected to our neshima, our breath. And so if it is safe to do so where you are, I encourage you, close your eyes, maybe plant your feet on the ground. And try and center on your breath. We can always return to that breath, to our focus on it, as a way to center ourselves and connect us with our own spirit, with our own neshama, our soul, and with the nishmat kol chai, the soul of all that lives. Page 34 in Mishkan Tefillah, Elohai Neshama. Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, Tehorahi, Elohai, Elohai, Neshama, Neshama, Shenatata bi, Shenatata bi, Tehorahi, 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 Tehorahi. Our Nisim B'chol Yom, our miracles of every day, teach us to give thanks for those little things, those little blessings, our opening of our eyes, our having clothes to wear, whatever freedom we can find in our lives, the firmness of our steps, the strength from our weariness. If there's something you are grateful for, a miracle of everyday living, your food, your shelter, whatever it might be, please share in the comments on Facebook. Write that in. Share this Facebook feed, even this video feed, or our YouTube live stream. Maybe write it down. Do something to make that blessing real for yourself right now, as we move from words of blessing into words of praise, from words of gratitude into our joy for all creation and our praise of our connection. Page 55 in Mishkan Tefillah is Psalm 150. All the ways to praise that breath of life, to praise Yah, to praise the divine, whatever your metaphor of the day is for the divine. Of course, if you're not using Mishkan Tefillah, if you are singing along or walking along somewhere, the only word you really need is Hallelujah. Praise to that source. Hallelujah. 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 Kerov, good Lord. Take a shofar, hallelujah, benevel v'chinor, hallelujah, b'tof u'machol, hallelujah, b'minim v'ugan, hallelujah, hallelujah. Tziltzilei Shama, Hallelujah, Tziltzilei Trua, Kol Hanshama Te'alelia, Kol Hanshama Te'alelia. As our morning prayers move from praise, from Sukkei de Zimra, our verses of praise, into Shema U'Virchotea, the Shema and its blessings, there's a blessing, the Baruch Hu, that calls us to prayer. It calls us to focus on the themes that we're about to encounter in our prayers, in that section of the service. And here at Kol Ami, throughout the pandemic, we haven't been praying the Baruch Hu traditionally because it hasn't felt right not to be able to rise, to rise physically and spiritually in the same place, and to be part of the physicality of what that prayer is in our traditional modes of prayer. But this melody is one that I still like to use interpretively to call us in. It's a melody of Noah Aronson, Am I Awake, Am I Prepared? And we'll sing it with Noah's original lyrics, but I'm also going to add the lyrics written by Cantor Ellen Dreskin. So if you know it, Am I Awake, please sing along with me. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? So in Noah's version there, it sets this idea of intention and asks, are we prepared to move forward in our prayers? And it asks this question, can you hear my voice? To that source of life. And Cantor Ellen Dreskin writes that this version that she wrote, it comes from her journey to interpreting the prayers in a way that places responsibility on the one who prays, as opposed to any outside God or other force. That's a theology that works really well for me too right now, thinking about the ways that our prayers ought to be changing us and calling us to act, and that they can help us focus, particularly those of us who think of God as a process or a force, more so than a being, usually. She puts it this way. Am I awake? Do I hear the call? Will I let these prayers change my life at all? How will I respond to the prayer's request? When I have the choice, will I choose to bless? Am I awake? Do I hear the call? Will I let these prayers change my life at all? How will I respond to the prayer's request? When I have the choice, will I choose to bless? How will I respond to that oneness of the divine that we're about to pray together in Shema? In Mishkan Tefillah, we're on page 64, but I encourage you to close your eyes if you know the words. We're going to start with a nigun, a melody that's just melody, so we can prepare ourselves so more fully to be ready for the words of Shema when we sing them after 2 times through this melody by our teacher Debbie Friedman. The next part of our morning prayer service is the Tefillah, the Amidah. And on weekdays, the Tefillah is our chance to speak directly to God and ask for that which we need help making real in our lives. And the way that it might be thought of, this framework that Cantor Dreskin gives in her interpretation of Am I Awake? One way to think about this might be, what are the things that we need help making real in our lives? What are the things that we can take responsible for bringing to the world to make it more whole, to make it more wise, to make healing come about as best we can? So, on page 74, in Mishkan Tefillah, the Tefillah begins with these words of Psalm 51, Adonai Svatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai tiftach Adonai sfatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha ufi agid tehilatecha Adonai sfatai tiftach Adonai sfatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha ufi agid tehilatecha. One of the blessings in our Amidah is Gevurot. It talks about, the traditional text in Hebrew talks about all the powers, sort of the superpowers we attribute to God, that God brings to the world, all of the gifts of creation and that source of power, of healing, of freedom, of so much in our world. This blessing on page 79 in Mishkan Tefillah really fits this theme of helping us be responsible for doing those things that we see as being godly. It says, "Your might, O God, is everlasting. Help us to use our strength for good and not evil. You are the source of life and blessing. Help us to choose life for ourselves and our children. You are the support of the falling. Help us lift up the fallen. You are the author of freedom. Help us to free the captive. You are our hope in death as in life. Help us to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust. Your might, O God, is everlasting. Help us to use our strength for good. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. Blessed are you, O source of life, giving life to all." If there's something that you need help making real in the world, that you want to set your intention to this morning, your kavanah, write it in the comments now on Facebook. Write it down. Say it out loud. Help make that intention real, and help make your focus on bringing that value to the world this morning a real part of your day. On page 371 in Mishkan Tefillah is the Mishaberach Lacholim, written by our teacher Debbie Friedman. May her memory be a blessing. And this prayer for healing is one that feels frankly heavier and heavier each passing week, because we see the more and more thousands upon thousands becoming ill with this coronavirus. If there's someone you're praying for healing for, you can write their name in the comments. You can share this feed with them, send them a text message, or just speak their name aloud as we sing this prayer together. This prayer for healing. Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Baruch atah Adonai rofei cholim. Blessed are you, O Holy One, who heals the sick. Amen. Thank you for joining us this morning for this morning's music and mindfulness service here with Congregation Kol Ami. I'm Rabbi Max Chaiken, and it has been a real honor and privilege to be able to gather this way online over these last months of this incredibly challenging and trying time in our world. I want to close today with a melody, Those Who Sow in Tears Will Reap in Joy. It's a melody that I'm thinking of this morning in part because my husband asked me to sing it, but in part I realized it would be the perfect melody to offer this morning in the face of a pandemic that is seemingly getting worse and worse, and we seem stuck in our response, perhaps. My prayer as I offer this melody, Those Who Sow in Tears Will Reap in Joy, is that the work we are doing to stay safer at home, to wear masks, to wash our hands, to keep each other safe, the choices we are making now, may they help us reap in joy eventually, even though they may be bringing us tears at the sadness in the world that has brought us to some of these necessities. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Hazorim bedima berina iktsoru hazorim bedima berina iktsoru. Sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Boker Tov, and thank you for joining us with Congregation Kol Ami. You can join us again tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time, streaming here to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel for a special Shabbat honoring Trans Day of Remembrance. This has been Trans Awareness Week. My pronouns are he, him. If you don't know what that means, or if you are someone who wants to celebrate our trans siblings, that's something we do here at Kol Ami. You can visit and find out more about everything we do on our website. That's kol-ami.org. kol-ami.org. Again, tomorrow night, November 20th, we'll be streaming at 6:30 p.m. And we have later this morning at 12 noon Pacific time, Rabbi Egger is teaching Lunch and Learn. On Saturday, we have our family program in the morning. We have our monthly Torah study with Rabbi Egger. Lots of stuff going on. Again, you can find out everything on our website. We hope to connect with you again soon. And we wish you a great day.